Hello, everybody. Welcome back to This Podcast Takes Tokens. I'm Derek with my brother Ryan. We're here to talk about movies. This week we are doing another of our Best Buds Summer Rewinds. We've been doing these for the whole summer so far. It's 10 of them in a row. We're somewhere around the middle. I think we're a little past the middle now. And, well, we'll get into that in just a second. But first, we left you off with a retro ramble question last week. I asked my brother and all of you out there if you want to comment. What is the best and worst superhero power you've seen? This is with a comma, so best superhero power you've seen and worst superhero power you've seen. Now, if there's one that combines both of them, I'm curious and I'd be love to hear about it, but I'm just looking at maybe what's the best and then what's the worst. So, Ryan, why don't you start us off with what's the best and worst superhero powers?
Best one I'd come up with is Multiple Man.
Multiple Man.
Switching yourself off, splitting yourself off into different bits of your different copies of yourself. Go to work. Gotta go mow the yard. Gotta go feed the chickens. Gotta do whatever. I don't want to do it because I'm recording. So
can your multiples make multiples of themselves? Can they split off from themselves, or can only the original split off? I don't remember.
I think it's only the original. Okay. But he can make as many as he wants. It just yeah. Weird, like when they come back to him, like they like almost like suck back into him, which I think would be an odd sensation.
That'd be weird, yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird. Oh, yeah, it's okay. I can kind of see that. Yeah, you can be in multiple places at once. Mm-hmm. All right. Worst superhero power. Let's see what you got.
Cyclops, right. Man. I don't... Without the visor... You're killing everybody you see. You're destroying everything you see.
Yeah. Or Jean Grey. She's been known to hold him back.
Oh, yes. Mentally. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then I thought I read that like recently he's been able to control it, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm not completely up on my marveling. I'm quite a few years behind on my X-Men, but like there's always something going on. Like there's I think we're on like our third iteration of Wolverine's death or something at this point, so
yes.
Who knows? I may be wrong.
What about you? What'd you pick?
Me? Okay. Best and worst superhero powers. My best one, it's a little vague, I guess. Maybe not a specific. I didn't pick a specific mutant, but psychic powers. They got to be the tops for me. And really because it can go beyond just mind reading. Like with the psychic powers, they can heal themselves. They can, levitate. They can do a lot of other things other than just, reading minds and manipulating minds. But I feel like that kind of like, and then you can like alter reality in people's minds and stuff. I feel like that opens it up to covering the majority of power sets, really. I mean, it's kind of it's an Omega level power for sure. But so for me, psychic powers is probably the best.
Yeah.
The worst, have you heard of the worst X-Men ever? This was a series they did back in, 2015.
Was this the one where he like can blow up once?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I thought about that one. I really thought about that one.
That's got to be the worst one. You can blow up once and it kills you. So whenever you use it, that's it. Like you're dead, and like but you can control it. You can make it small or you can make it big. But yeah, I thought that was a really interesting short little series they did. I think it was like 6 episodes or something like that, or issues. But
I think he ended up like saving the day. I think when he did that, if I remember right, like
he took out a bad guy.
Yeah. So it wasn't like all for nothing, but my gosh, what a.
But like I remember that one started, and like he found out that like his parents are mutants, so he's got to be a mutant. So he goes to the academy to like figure out, like what his power sets are. And, Beast is running on, and he's like meeting all the mutants. He's like, "Hey, what's up? I like you, and I like this," and like he's like a big fanboy and out and everything. And then Beast tells him, "Oh yeah, your power is you can blow up." And he's like, "Oh, that's awesome." And he's like, "Yeah, but you can only do it once." He's like,
once.
"Well, okay." He's like, "Yeah, but it'll kill you." And he's like, "Oh, well, okay, that sucks." And then he's walking out with his parents, and they're kind of like, he's kind of a little somber about that. And then they get killed by a sentinel that just drops from the sky. Just the worst day ever.
You know what, though? If I'm going to be told news like that, I want Hank McCoy to tell me that news. Yeah. Like, he's one of my favorite X-Men. I love Beast. Yeah. But yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that Sentinel just drops and
Yeah. That's a good little series. I like that one. But yeah, worst. That's got to be the worst X-Men power ever. That or I don't know, maybe Beak. That was a pretty rough one.
Oh yeah, I felt bad for. Like I think everybody felt bad for him. It's like he looked that way. He had nothing. Like he couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, it was like a baby chicken mutant thing. It was weird.
Yeah.
But all right, well, that's my retro ramble for this week.
Yep.
Let us know in the comments if you have an answer that maybe it's interesting or funny or different. It doesn't even have to be X-Men. It could be, DC power sets. Could be from, Vertigo. Whatever. It doesn't even have to be comic books. Maybe from a movie. Whatever.
Maybe you've got a superpower.
Maybe you got superpower.
And you're like, this sucks.
It's not you right here.
Yeah.
But with that, I'm going to roll our intro, and fingers crossed we'll be back and start the episode.
Yep.
Your local video store card.
A comic book in your back pocket.
Games with no tutorials.
Music you had to discover.
And drinking water straight from the hose.
These are the things us millennials remember fondly. We are the Jennings brothers.
Join us after the streetlights come on
as we race our bikes from the top of the hill
right down memory lane.
Exchange those quarters because this podcast takes tokens.
Okay, audience, look. I apologize to you if I don't seem really eager to jump into an awkward conversation that some people like to call a podcasting. I don't like that feeling. You're sitting there and you're wondering, do I have something in my face? Do I blink enough? Am I talking too much? Is my co-host talking enough? Am I interested in the topic? When I'm not, should I be? Should I play like I am interested? Maybe, but I don't know. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not interested. Maybe I am. Maybe I should think I am. Am I interested? But do I want to be interested? But now I'm interested, but now you're not interested. So all these are starting to get together, and I'm stuttering and I'm wondering, and I'm getting interested, but then I'm wondering, am I supposed to sign off? When am I supposed to sign off? Do I have to wait for the outro to start? Because then it's awkward. It's like, it's like that goodbye, do you do that thing where like, you put the mic out and like you're yelling it like goodbye, like from long away, like you're walking away, but since you're away from the microphone, it kind of sounds like you're far away. Or do you get up really close in the microphone, get intimate, and say goodnight and whisper it to the audience and get into the microphone, and you're kind of like in their ear. You say goodbye and all that. It's very difficult to read the situation. And all I'm saying is, we're here. Let's do this podcast.
That's the best. That's Vince Vaughn. That's totally Vince Vaughn.
I got off my track, but that's just about where I am at.
My mouth hurts. My mouth hurts from smiling and laughing. That's great. That's great.
All right, tonight we are talking about the 2005 movie Wedding Crashers.
Oh yes.
So yes, welcome back to this podcast. Takes Tokens for those of you that have been away. And man, what a fun movie this was. I enjoyed the rewatch.
Gosh.
How about you?
Oh, absolutely love it. This is. I have such good memories watching this movie originally. My friend Daniel and I, we would go to the movies a lot. Like this came out the year I graduated. And I remember, I think I had to have been, I don't remember when it came out. It had been like the summer or the fall, I think.
Released July 15th, 2025.
Okay.
Or 2005.
Yeah. So I had just graduated that May. And I had moved back to hometown here, and I remember him and we would go see a lot of movies, and this was kind of the start of our adventures of going to just watch all these comedies every time they'd come
Rat
out.
Pack.
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
This was a big time for it.
I mean, so I really think that the 2000s is like the golden age of comedies. I think it's the best era. If you'll indulge me for just a second,
sure.
I know we haven't hit the numbers here,
No.
I ran down some highlights of just comedies that came out in the 2000s. this is not an extensive list, but just to drive my point home. Zoolander, Anchorman, Napoleon Dynamite, Wedding Crashers, Borat, School of Rock, The Hangover, Step Brothers, Mean Girls, The 40-Year-Old Virgin, Dodgeball, Road Trip, Euro Trip, Old School, Bruce Almighty, Superbad, Meet the Parents, Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Shaun of the Dead, Zombieland, Waiting, Knocked Up, Talladega Nights, Yes Man, I Love You Man, Team America World Police, Super Troopers, Clerks 2, Van Wilder, and Just Friends. Just to name some of the movies, comedy movies that came out in the 2000s.
I think most of those are on our list, and we've covered several of those already.
I'm telling you, like, for me, the best era for comedies. Because like after that, and it went into maybe like the 2010s a little bit, and then it just kind of tapered off. Like I think like superhero movies kind of got into the, kind of started hitting the mainstream, and I feel like those kind of elevated, and then these kind of slice of life comedies just kind of
went away.
Yeah.
I don't see them as much anymore, but they do that. They come in like in these like waves. Like we had it in the 90s. You had like kind of a wave of like comedies, and then they all kind of died off, and then they came back around again in like the early 2000s or the mid 2000s. Really, this was kind of about the peak, I think. And then they all kind of died off again. I'm waiting for them to come back around again. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I'm waiting.
Yep.
Waiting.
Love a good comedy.
Yeah. So the numbers we already talked about. This was released to July 15th, 2005 on a budget of $40 million. Not bad. Not bad little budget. What do you want to guess? Opening weekend or worldwide gross?
Opening weekend, 15 million.
A little off.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil your worldwide, so let me get your worldwide.
Gosh. Budget of 40 million?
Yeah.
80 million worldwide.
No, way off on this one. Opening weekend, 32 million.
Oh, yes. Good.
Worldwide gross, 288 million.
Yes.
This is a big hit.
I'm happy to be wrong on that.
Yeah. In fact, there is a sequel that has been in the works since this movie was released that they just have not been able to get off the ground. I'd love to see a sequel to this. I don't know what it looks like, but I would totally be down for a sequel on this one. Rotten Tomatoes. Where do you think we land on Rotten Tomatoes?
You're just going to have to give the numbers because I watched this on Peacock, and when I hit pause for a minute to go grab something to drink, Peacock shows you what the Rotten Tomatoes scores is.
Does it now?
Yep,
okay.
it
Rotten
does.
Tomatoes, 75%. Popcorn meter, 70%. That's pretty respectable.
Very respectable. Yep.
What was it? Oh, man, we got to start keeping track of these. There was one we had recently. I was shocked at how high it was. I can't remember if it was it Loaded Weapon? I don't remember. But anyways.
Maybe. Yep.
75 and 70. That's pretty high. That's a good Rotten Tomato score.
Yep.
To give you a reference right now, Final Destination Bloodlines is on the list of most popular at 92%. So I don't know.
It's 92% right now?
92%
like the tomato meter or the popcorn?
The tomato meter.
Wow.
It's certified fresh. Interesting, right?
I've never really watched any of those movies.
I saw the first one.
Wasn't it good?
It was interesting.
Yeah.
But it's kind of one of those things where it's like, the premise is like, you see it in the first movie, and then the second movie comes around, and you're like, I've seen that already. I don't know that I need to see another one, but I don't know, maybe the last one. I don't know. Maybe one day. I mean, get around to seeing those.
I know they're not like technically slasher movies, but that's like any slasher movie, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, they killed Freddy. Oh, he's back. What's he gonna do? He's gonna kill some more teens. That's what he's gonna do. In
their dreams. That's what he does.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Oh, they killed him. All right. Hey, we're gonna make a third one. You know what the difference is here?
He's back.
There's no difference. He's back.
It's just shinier claws. That's about it.
That's right.
I pulled up the reviews. I'm just going to read off the first two that I see here. One of them is a critic review. One of them is an audience review. And I feel like these are great reviews. Film for Staff is a critic review and reads, The frat pack goes from strength to strength in a robust romp that's only marred by the director's apparent inability to yell cut. It's perfect. It's a perfect review. It's great. I love it. And in the audience reviews, audience member, that's the name, leaves a review that just says, nice movie, fun to watch.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Simple but sweet. I like it.
I had so much fun on the rewatch of this. Like, I completely get it.
This is a great one. This was a fun one to rewatch. I hadn't seen this one in quite a while, I will admit. I saw it when it first came out, got the DVD, watched it a few times. You know, it was one of those movies we'd watch on like the weekends. You know, you go out, you have some drinks, you come back home, you want to watch something while you just kind of unwind from the night or whatever. This was a great movie for that. Everybody can kind of hang out. You've seen it enough times. You can kind of talk over the movie, watch during the funny parts, talk some more. It was a great movie for that. I enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun with it. The thing that surprised me that I forgot about is Dwight Yoakam in the opening scene.
I had a note for that. Yeah.
Yes.
That's my first note for the movie. Yeah.
Every time he shows up in a movie, I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, Dwight Yoakam. And he's always fun. He's always fun to watch. And I like him when he pops up in movies. So it's always fun. It's always a crowd pleaser for sure.
Oh, yeah, there she goes, taking those, take your sedative. I can't remember exactly what he said.
Take your pills.
You know, I mean, that sounds good. You know, if you want to throw a couple miles our way, you know, that's fine.
I'm not saying
just shut up.
That was great. I forgot what I saw him in recently. I saw him in something else more recently, and same thing where I was just like, oh, it's fun to enjoy. But anyway, I should have maybe looked that up before I brought it up, but whatever. Owen Wilson, Vince Vaughn, they play off of each other.
Oh man,
so great in this movie. It's so much fun, and you wouldn't think it would work. But it does. It works really well. I thought halfway through this movie, am I going to get tired of Owen Wilson? And I didn't. It didn't get tiring.
Owen has some funny parts, but the dynamic is so well done. Like he's really kind of the straight man. And then Vince Vaughn's the kind of, wild and whatever. to an extent, I guess towards the end of the movie, they kind of reverse roles a little bit. But you're right. I mean, I'm looking at this. I'm like, are you like looking off my notes because like it's the exact same? But yeah, their pairing is spot on, and I wish we could have had some more movies with them together because I think they just it was perfect.
Yeah, it was a good little dynamic there. I was trying to think of there was another movie that came out around this time with Old School. This one kind of reminds me of, you got, I think Vince Vaughn was in that one as well, wasn't he?
And Luke Wilson was in Old School.
Luke Wilson, yeah. It was Luke Wilson and Vince Vaughn in Old School. And that one, I was, I guess, picturing a lot of Old School before the rewatch on this one. For whatever reason, that was just in my head. I mean, they're only a couple years apart, so I guess I watched them both kind of a lot together, and they share a lot of the same cast too. Like you got Will Ferrell that reprises his role at some point. I guess not a lot of the same cast, just the key players there, I suppose. And but yeah, that one I kept waiting for certain parts. I'd be like, oh yeah, that was Old School. That wasn't this one. But I feel like they share a bit of I don't want to say yin and yang. They just kind of they follow similar beats. Maybe it's just comedy in general.
Same vibe.
Same vibe. Yeah. Refusing to grow up, all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I think of the two of them together. If I was going to watch two movies together, it'd probably be those two. I think that'd be a good pairing. That'd be a lot of fun to watch together. I don't know. I think of them kind of in the same breath that way. But I had another thought. I can't remember what it was.
Escaped you.
Yeah, it's escaped me. It was something about those the Old School and Wedding Crashers that escape me now. But the whole Wedding Crasher thing, that's what it was. The whole Wedding Crasher thing. Did do you think this is a real thing? Are people out there crashing weddings?
Sure.
Before this, not after this. Before this.
Surely somebody was. I mean, I don't think it was a epidemic of
Yeah.
things happening. Surely. I mean, where else would they have
to inspire it? Yeah,
you know, art is inspired by life, right?
this is true. Yeah.
So, I mean, somebody had to have been doing it for them to think of, oh my gosh, this would make a great movie. Like somebody heard a story of, a secondhand story from somebody's brother's friend's cousin that does this, or something that.
Okay, I can see it. Yeah, would it be an effective method though, like for picking up girls to go crash weddings? Like, it seems like a lot more work than just going to the bar and meeting a girl.
Yeah, but I think though, like in this instance, you're not. You're in it to pick up women, but you're also basically having like a free party. And let's face it, a lot of these weddings that they're going to are like wealthy people, so it's like, well, it's probably like an open bar, and you get women and drinks and get to have a good time for free. You just got to pretend that you're somebody's nephew, from a distant relation. And I mean, I'll admit, after watching this, I was 18, and I I talked to my friend Daniel. I'm like, man, we should be going and doing this. And I think like, not now. Daniel's a very good family man now. I think back then though, if I would have had a little more
gumption, he would have done it with me. He would have. We would at least tried it once, but I was too timid. I'm like, I can't do this. There's no way. I couldn't do it. That's awful. It's awful.
It is awful. It's like, I'm looking at it now and I'm like, oh my God, look at what these jerks are doing to these women. Like, you're just like, you're using them. And that's, but it makes for a funny movie.
Yeah, it makes for a funny movie. And like you see, like with a couple of them, they're like, they're onto it. They get it. They're like, my name's not that. My name's Stacy or whatever, or she's like, are we done here? Or, like all the different things. And it's like, okay, they're kind of in on it too, or they're complicit in it, but I don't know. But I can't imagine. I mean, I don't know. It seems like a lot more work to go crash a wedding than to just go meet a woman in a more natural setting.
I don't know. I'm with you though. Like I
maybe it's because I don't like wearing a tux.
Maybe there. I like dressing up, but I don't get to do it very often. But I think that I don't recall ever going to a wedding and just seeing women just like ready for attention of that caliber,
Right.
But I don't know. I wasn't looking for it either. Like most weddings I've been to recently have been like with my wife, or maybe, maybe she was my girlfriend maybe at the time, but like it has been with my now wife. So it wasn't something I was, I wasn't seeking after a woman. So I don't know. But
anyways,
surely somebody's out there. You're right, especially after this movie came out. Yeah. Surely, I bet there was an influx.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there was after the movie,
a year or so after, just
like annoying guys. They were not as smooth. They were not getting away with it. Getting bounced at a wedding so fast. Oh yeah, I'm sure it was a headache for the wedding industry.
Oh yeah,
they were just like, oh no, one of these guys. Got to check IDs at the door now, guys.
Yeah,
this is ridiculous. First 9/11, now this.
Yep.
But anyways. I like how we can see early on. We'll get back to the movie here.
Yeah, let's get back to the movie.
I like how we can see early on that Owen Wilson is getting tired of this. Like, you can kind of see it in, like, he's exuding a bit of exhaustion with all of this, his predicament. He's just kind of like, I just want to be done with this. I'm tired of doing all this. And then it kind of like little sets us up for what's to come and what's all going down the road. But they talk about I'm trying to establish a bit of a timeline here because we got Best Buds Summer. So we got to ask the question, when did they become Best Buds?
Before the movie started.
It was before the movie started, because we start out as Best Buds. But there's a couple things in here that I think kind of give us some clues. Like he talks about that they've been doing this for 12 years, that they got the book 12 years ago from, I can't remember his name. Will Ferrell's character's name. I can't remember the character's name. Whatever his name was. We'll just call him the first Cratcher.
Yes.
So he talks about getting it from him like 12 years ago. And then he also talks about how they were, Owen Wilson mentions that, that they've known each other for 17 years. And they're probably in their mid-30s. So that means that they've known each other since, we'll say, around high school.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, Vince Vaughn mentions that they've had 16 years of friendship. So they became friends roughly a year after they met us, it sounds like. Or roughly around the same time, I would assume. Maybe they're just like slipping of the tongue as far as like what it is. So I'd say they became best buds in high school. I think that's a good place to put it. Other than that, I don't think we can establish it in this movie because, like we said, it was done before the movie started. Yeah. So we're just gonna knock that one out a little early.
I think that has to be it because they clearly they had to have went to the same college together.
Yeah,
and then they both got the same degree. They opened up this. I'm assuming they're like attorneys or something. I don't know exactly.
They're
what.
Mediators, wedding.
Divorce mediators. Okay. But they've got like their own office, like together, So
I don't know if they're part of a whole like law firm, if they're independent or what. But, yeah. And then it opens up, Vince Vaughn's talking about, Owen Wilson's parents, dying whenever he was in high school or something like that. And every year on his birthday, he goes and sleeps over at his house or whatever.
Yeah.
Which they kind of set that up, but then they don't do it. But they do bring it back around towards the end to kind of
it's like he starts to, and then then he kicks him out. But I wondered for a while. I was like, is this? Because it had been a while since I'd watched it too. But I was like, is this like a joke that he's trying to tell? Yeah, this woman to try to come on to her, and then of course it comes up later that no, he was serious about that. So yeah, there's a long friendship there.
Yeah, they've been best buds for a while. And may continue to be best buds, I guess, it sounds like. Yeah. But, any, what are your thoughts on this? I'll open the floor to you for a minute and let you ramble.
Okay. So, I'm going to mention this here.
All right.
Christina and Craig's wedding vows, the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on. I want, will you vow to be my captain? And my and everybody the entire audience is like laughing with Rachel McAdams there. Like they're just
the audience that's at the wedding isn't. It's
no.
Her.
I'm saying but us, the viewing audience. We're like, what is this? What is this? But I love how this movie just puts little stuff like that in there. I don't know. It's like it's not really like that's not a huge plot point, but it's humorous. And it gives you an insight into her character. What was all of a sudden?
Claire.
Claire, yes, on Claire's character, and I don't know. That was really funny. But my favorite scene. Well, really, any scene with Vince Vaughn and Isla Fisher together is just so funny. But I love when she's got him tied up to the bed. And he, it's that whole scene from like when he first wakes up and she's there and then she sticks a sock in his mouth and puts the duct tape over it and you hear him, or whatever. And then it cuts back later. She's left and Todd, her brother, comes in and he's like, we had a moment. And it's the classic Vince Vaughn. He talks. He's a fast talker, He reads his lines so fast. And we didn't. No, we didn't. Yeah, we did. No. I painted you something. And it's painting. That painting up there. It's just. I was rolling. And then Christopher Walken starts to come in, and he's like, yeah, get in the closet. Get in the closet. And then Christopher Walken comes in and sits down. He's talking to him. Clearly, Jeremy is just tied up to this bed,
but doesn't pay any attention. Doesn't.
He looks over, sees the rope, tugs on it slightly, doesn't say anything, and just gets up and goes.
Yeah, it's just
that whole scene is so funny. Oh my gosh, I was laughing. I was rolling with that scene. It was so good. But yeah, I mean, everything that him and Isla Fisher in, it's just.
Oh, I could watch 3 movies of them two together.
Oh,
of her just torturing him.
Yes.
Oh, that's the best. She has the best crazy eyes, and
she does.
it just kills me in this movie. I'm with you. I could watch them together for 3 more movies. I'm waiting for the sequel. I want to see the sequel.
That's what the sequel should have been. It should have been both. It should have been John, Jeremy, Claire, and Gloria, like an extension of what they like. At the end of the movie, they're like, "Hey, let's go crash this wedding." Yeah. Like, there doesn't have to be all this, sleeping with people in there. Like, just show them having fun and just, I don't know,
we could subvert the genre right here. They could crash weddings, and then they end up at a wedding, and it happens to be for, like, I don't know, like a drug cartel or something, and then it turns into like an action comedy movie.
Yep.
We could go in a completely different direction.
Anything.
I think we got it right there.
That's what we needed. But that gosh, I'm thinking of all these scenes they were in. That dinner table scene when she's like, and I can't say it. But what he says to him later, he's like, "You were the one that just got that done underneath the table." It's just, again, it's. Vince Vaughn, I think, is so we've established Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn together are great, but Vince Vaughn, the way he delivers lines, the way he plays this character, I think just it really makes this movie. It's just so good. It's so funny, and
I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Oh, really? Soft mattress? No, not soft mattress. Yeah, I agree. And it's the two of them together. Like they play off of each other so well. That's what makes it so enjoyable. It's so much. It's just funny. It's so much fun to watch. It's so funny to watch them just like bouncing off of each other. And then you throw in Bradley Cooper in there playing this
he's great.
Amazing heel.
Everything he's in. Yeah. Yep.
Which I don't really remember him from much before this. Mm-hmm. I think this, and he did that show Kitchen Confidential right around the same time. I remember seeing him in those two. Mm-hmm. And then he would kind of like pop up in here and there. But this was just great. Like he played like this A+ a-hole, for lack of a better term.
We've all seen this guy. Like we know this guy. You see him, you're like, oh yeah, him and his buddies. We've seen these guys before.
Yeah, and man, whenever he lays the hits on Vince Vaughn, when they're playing football, did nobody give him the memo that this is supposed to be touch football? Because he's just laying him out like nothing else.
Nobody cares either.
Nobody
cares.
Just
like watching, and they're they may make a ooh or whatever.
But they're not like, "Are you okay?" They're just like,
breath.
"Yeah, get up. We're gonna keep going."
Well, I guess Claire is like, "No, I think your brother's really hurt." So maybe she's the only. But you would think Gloria would be, like I think at some point she runs over there to him. But at the very first hit, is infatuated with Jeremy as she is. That first hit, she would have been like over there, like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" Like, "Oh my poor baby."
Well, maybe she kind of enjoyed it a little bit. She liked watching him get beat up first.
That's true. That's true. She's
something else.
She's a nut job. But I remember 18-year-old me watching this. I had such a thing for her after this movie. Yeah. I'd never seen her or anything before that. And I was like, oh my gosh. This woman.
I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
With the whole touch football thing, though, aren't you supposed to give like a little bit of a count before you rush the quarterback? Like, isn't there like a 3 count or something like that?
Yeah,
like, he doesn't give a 3 count at all. He just lays him out, goes right for him. No, not playing by the rules. Not playing by the rules at all. Not in football, not in life.
No, not at all. Not at all.
No.
He's like all about John not taking Claire from him. Well, taking her like she's a piece of property, but he, not taking Claire from him. But then, like, every other scene, he's like talking about sleeping with all these other women and everything, and I'm like, you can't have it both ways, man.
No.
Like, you gotta...
No.
But
and we see he doesn't.
He is.
Yeah.
No.
Man. So, okay, back to them crashing all these weddings. There's one where I think it was Owen. No, it was Vince Vaughn, I think, or was it Owen? One of the two of them was out on the dance floor and dancing with the flower girl.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody
Owen
at the
Wilson.
wedding is concerned with a perfect stranger slow dancing with the little flower girl.
They don't know he's a perfect stranger.
They
They've
don't know who he is.
No, but I think that's what they've done. Like, they're so good at manipulating people to make them think like this is reality. Like, this is what this movie stretches into reality. If you tell somebody very convincing, like in this situation, oh, I'm Uncle Ned's. We're Uncle Ned's kids. You know, Liz's Aunt Liz's brother. You know, people, they may not remember you, but if they hear names that they recognize, they don't want to be rude and act like they don't remember you. Like, people generally don't want to be rude to people, right?
Okay.
For the most part. So they just have to believe it. They're just like allowing themselves to, okay, I've got to believe this because I can't be rude to this guy. He has to be telling the truth.
Yeah.
So then, you know, you've got cousin John over here wanting to dance with the flower girl. Like, well, there's other people around. Like, you know, I don't. It's just cousin John over there. You know.
So does everybody have a Aunt Liz and a Uncle Ned? We don't have an Aunt Liz or an Uncle Ned. Not that I know of.
No, we don't. No,
it would not work on us.
No, well, no, but if you look, like, you know, they've got whole manila envelopes full of like homework that they do before these things, so they have some idea of these families, and so they can work their way in. Because I wondered,
like large families too.
Yeah. I mean, you know, these Christopher Walken's like a senator or something.
Yeah.
And like, how many people is he inviting? He's inviting his cronies, his, you know, all his donors and, you know, everything. So, I mean, that's what.
And then he also mentioned like that they've been getting the two families together. He referred to it almost like, you know, like getting two royal families together. It was like, you know, we're finally going to join these two great American families or something like that. So they clearly have like wide and dense family trees on both sides. I don't know. I guess it's like maybe an East Coast New England thing, perhaps.
Well, it's got to be. I mean, look at over that. Like, look, like this area is like money. Like, there's nothing but money there, and I'm like, okay, this is like Kennedy level.
Yeah,
like, you know, like,
like that house, that beach house that they have.
Yeah,
they have to take a boat to get to. Oh my God.
with like all the help and everything they've got there, like for a vacation house.
Oh yeah,
I'm like, oh my gosh, like
keeping those people on staff, and
they've got money. They've got money.
Yeah, that's true.
And everybody's big thing is sailing. Like,
sailing.
You and I aren't going to be sailing. I can't. I can barely afford like a John boat. Like, I'm not going to be out there with.
I don't want a boat. You want a boat? I don't want a boat. If you could get a boat, would you want a boat?
No. I've heard the best 2 days of a boat owner's life are the day
they buy it and the day they
sell it. That's what I've heard.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I got no interest in a boat myself either. No. It just doesn't. Yeah, it seems like a lot of work. But maybe that's coming up a lot with me today. I don't want to seem like that, but yeah, it seems like a lot of work.
Yeah. Okay, this wedding.
Yeah.
Was Christina and Craig, where they meet Gloria and Clara.
Oh yeah.
This best man speech is rough. I mean, he's talking to Craig and he's like, he was there for me. And here I am, 8 months sober. All because of him. I'd have been like up and gone by this point. Like, that's way too, oh my gosh. I don't know. Maybe I was uncomfortable watching it. Maybe you didn't feel the same way.
I don't remember the best man speech.
Oh my gosh. It wasn't as rough as Claire's, but
that was funny. That was a good one. I like that one. Yeah. And he's like, you got to play it like, tug of the heartstrings, be a little nice about it. Yeah, that was great.
I think my jokes are pretty good.
Yeah.
Her jokes were good, just not for the people that
they're not here to hear jokes.
No.
Yeah, I like that. And I like how they're at this point, they've been to so many weddings
Mm-hmm.
that it's just kind of become a bit of a game for them. Like, they're all about, like, you know, what was it? He was like, you know, this person's going to cry at this point. You know, like, whenever the bride walks up, he's like, I bet she's going to cry. And he's like, I bet you won't. And like, all right, $20. Yeah, $20. And then she cries. He's like, all right, here's $20.
Yeah. Yeah.
Double or nothing on, you know, I don't know, what was it? What Bible verse are they going to recite?
First Corinthians or I can't remember what the other one was. Yeah. Two very common wedding scriptures. Yes.
Yeah. So they've gotten to where they're reading the wedding party as well. Like, they've just gotten, 12 years they've been doing this for, so.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't have any overlap in 12 years where they went to a wedding and ran into somebody that they knew from another wedding with all these families, like in the same area.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Like,
no, they
all
did.
gotta know each
They
other.
did at the
they?
beginning. You remember that? Because
No.
it's showing them, you know, it's like that montage of them at different weddings.
Yeah.
And there was one scene, like that first wedding you see him go to, where, you know, he's like putting the eye drops in his eyes to make it, you know, seem like he's crying or whatever.
Yeah.
One of the gentlemen they meet is this older guy, like this elderly man, and they really like get a good rapport going with him, and, you know, they're laughing and carrying on with him. And then they're at another wedding, and he's there, and someone's like his wife or someone's like, who is that? He's like, oh, that's so and so. You know, like he remembered them from the that's the way I interpret it, unless they were just montaging, like going back and forth to the same wedding. But
Yeah, I montaged it as like they were just cutting together clips. Like there was no continuity to it. It was just different clips from different weddings, just showing that they were going to a bunch of different weddings. And I think I read it as they were kind of establishing the whole, like, oh yeah, they're using that whole what was it, Aunt Liz and Uncle Ned thing, and everybody's like, oh yeah, that's Liz and Ned's kid or whatever.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
the one that made it big at whatever. You know, well, I forget the details, but yeah,
venture
that's the way I read the
capitalists.
situation.
Yeah.
But no. I'm gonna skip ahead again. We're gonna go back to our favorite couple, you know, Isla Fisher and Vince Vaughn.
Oh yeah.
How did nobody notice them at the table? Like, nobody noticed them at the dinner
There's
table.
no way, especially the way, like, he's carrying on.
He's enjoying it a little much.
Like that is, he's trying to brush her hand away at first,
Yeah.
and you see it coming back. Love it.
And she's leaning like far over too. Like she's she's not subtle about it at all.
No.
Nobody at the table seems to notice it at all. Like nothing. I'm like, not even when he's banging on the table, nobody's noticing.
Yeah, I know.
Nothing. I guess Grandma's being distracting enough over there with all her rants and everything. But
I think it's time to go to bed, Mom.
yeah. Oh man. So there's also the point later on in the evening where the mom is hitting on Owen Wilson's character as well.
Kitty cat.
Kitty cat, that's right. She comes into his room, she makes him feel her up and everything, and then, you know, quickly turns the table. She's like, you know, jerk or whatever, and she
Pervert. She calls him a
that's what it was,
pervert.
yeah.
She like forces
And then
him.
walks out. Yeah.
Like that's her thing. But you remember at the wedding, when she first sees him, like she dances with him, and she's like, "We've been married for, you know, I don't know, 30 years.
Happy
We were
29 or something.
we were faithful for the first two."
That's right. It was
And then she
faithful.
walks up.
She walks away. So then she gets into his room. She does all this, you know, and then leaves him. At what point in their relationship does he have to tell her, oh, by the way, your mom made me feel her up?
I mean,
Because that's got to come up.
at this
You can't
point,
leave that.
like by the end of the movie, yeah, they're together. Like, well, I guess you know, he's like, well, I'm not asking you to marry me. I'm just asking you not to marry him and go on a walk with me or whatever. But
Good line.
you know, you can read between the lines. These two are going to get together, and that's got to come up some point.
It's got to come up somewhere.
He's got to say something to her because
he's gotta be
otherwise,
first. He can't
she's
go.
gonna she's gonna keep coming on to him if he doesn't say anything.
And she can't find out from somebody else. She's got to find out from him.
No,
You got to control that information.
Yeah. And really, the way that she seems to present herself to everybody,
He's
like,
not
it doesn't
first.
seem like it's a secret that she's pretty promiscuous. So I don't see Claire being like, "Oh, I don't believe that." Like,
Yeah.
I could totally see her being like, gosh darn it, Mom.
Again?
Can you not like hit on this guy? Yeah.
That was my thought, was whenever this happened, like, well, you can't get back from that. Like, and I can't imagine explaining that and having a pleasant conversation afterwards. That is not a conversation that is going to go well in your favor, no matter what.
No.
That's an awkward situation to be put in. But it's movie magic, and maybe we just move on from it, and nobody remembers. But I feel like the whole weekend that they're at the lake house is kind of the torture, if you will, that Vince Vaughn's going through is kind of like his comeuppance for the years of him, crashing weddings.
Yes.
With Owen Wilson and everything. And baptism by fire maybe is the correct. I don't know. It feels like he's going through an accelerated course in finding his true love, perhaps. Yeah. And he comes out of it, happier than he wanted, or he went into it for sure.
Yeah. I love when he finally figures out, like when he's talking with the priest down in the breakfast room or whatever, and he's talking. Well, he's talking. The priest doesn't get to talk. But when he finally like realizes that she was playing him just like he was playing her, and then he when he sees her, he's like, I dig it. Like we've he's
like,
hit
he gets it. He's like, we're meant for each other. Let's do
that's
this.
Right. That's
Come
right.
on.
Yeah. And I love how Christopher Walken like doesn't really care for him, at least in the first part of the movie. And he says, Jeremy says to John, he's like, he's threatened by the way I dance. Like that's it. It's little lines like that are just sprinkled through this movie. Little things. Yeah. Like the way you're talking, like we know that Gloria is, we get a glimpse, like she's crazy. So, we see her and Jeremy go off to the beach, and she's like all lovey-dovey on him. You're like, okay, I could see that. Like at that point, I'm still not convinced. Like, I don't even have any idea that she's really crazy. She's just like infatuated with somebody because for all we know, like that was her first, or whatever.
Yeah. That's what she told us.
That's what she told us. And then he comes back, we got a stage 5 clinger. We got to go. It's great. But like when she's, trying to convince Christopher Walken to let them come to the vacation house.
She's just throwing a fit like a child.
Oh, she's like holding her breath and stomping and everything. At that point, you're like, okay,
she's off.
There's a little something here. Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And like, it's like, it's all the little things, like you said, like whenever he's making the balloon animals and the kid's like, I want a bike. And he's like, I can't make a bike, buddy. You got to pick something else. And he's like, make a bike, clown. It's just like, that was great.
You want a bike? Fine. Here's a bike.
Then he makes him a bike.
He does.
Which was impressive. I mean, the bike was super impressive, I must admit. He made perfectly round wheels. I was impressed by the bike, for sure.
It's like, Uncle Jeremy's a little tired. I can't make that right now. Make it.
I for some reason remembered the Dan Band showing up in this movie, and I was kind of disappointed whenever they didn't. But I guess it's a reason to go watch Old School. But anyways, this this one hits on like what we were talking about with Loaded Weapon 1, just the writing, the pacing, the back and forth, I don't know what you want to call it, the rhythm of the joke telling in the dialogue and the way that they're conversing and everything. This one has it. Now I don't know if it's more. I'm watching the movie and I'm trying to separate out the dialogue from Vince Vaughn, because I know that Vince Vaughn is one to go off script and improvise a whole lot. And I'm trying to figure out is it the writing or is it Vince Vaughn that's making this funny? But then there's moments like that with the kid where I'm like, okay, that's just really good writing. Or the where Claire is delivering her maid of honor speech, and I'm like, okay, again, that's just like that's really good writing. So I think it's the really good writing, and then what elevates this movie is somebody like Vince Vaughn, who can go off script and can improvise so well that it just enhances what's already there and makes it so much more fun.
And I really think like it's not, yes, Vince Vaughn is like, he steals the show in this movie.
Yeah.
But I think they just have a stellar cast for this entire movie. Everybody just does such a good job. Like, you know,
and so many people early too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like from the way like Rachel McAdams is like delivering that line of, you know, like her wedding speech, or, you know, her what is it, maid of honor speech or whatever.
Yeah.
And again, the way Isla Fisher is just like, she straddles that line between crazy, and then there's certain times where she's like, you really thought that you were my first, like, and she's dead serious. And I mean, Christopher Walken is always, you know, he's firing here. He's never bad in a movie I've seen. Bradley Cooper, you know, Bradley Cooper's always great. Like, even whatever he's playing, like, he's a jerk. I don't like the character because he's a jerk, but
he plays a great heel.
Oh my gosh, he's great. Yeah, he's absolutely great. Yeah, everybody does a great job in this movie, and I think that's exactly it. Like, there's just it was one of those things that I think, like I said earlier, I think that we got through a lot of the 2000s, because I think a lot of these comedy movies, they had great writing, but they also had great actors that could take that writing and really go with it, or to go off script with it. And it's just a shame,
like clay, like,
yes,
transforming into what they know the audience wants to see.
And it's just such a shame we don't have that so much now. But yeah, this movie's just, I mean, let's talk about Will Ferrell in this. Like, why did we not get a Funeral Crashers movie?
Oh yeah.
We should have. It
feels like at least an SNL skit of some sort to be done for sure.
Something. Yeah. I
mean, I feel like with Will Ferrell's character, I mean, you know, he's coming in. He's the guy that they pull in off the bench to come in and fire in a few free throws and you know, get some points on the board, and that's it. And then you don't want him in there for the whole game, because he's going to wear out. If he was in there for the whole movie, I think it would have been too much. Like, his character was beyond the other characters, and more of him would have been way too much. It was just the perfect amount. It's sprinkled in just right, and it kind of like, it serves as the cautionary tale to our characters of, you know, like even Owen Wilson, like he mentions it. He's like, oh yeah, I met you know, what's his name? I met Will Ferrell, and you know, by the way, you didn't tell me he's crazy, or whatever he says.
I crashed a funeral. The whole congregation is. But
which, by the way, he may be onto something there.
Yeah, he is cleaning house.
Sorry, wrong audience.
Yeah.
But yeah, he comes in, he does good. It was a lot of fun. It was quick, and that's what it needed to be. He came in, he did the job, fired on all cylinders, and he got out before he overstayed his welcome. And I think it worked.
That's kind of how I feel about, it may be an unpopular opinion, it probably is, but that's kind of how I feel about Will Ferrell in general. I don't hate Will Ferrell. Like, I think that he's a very funny, like, comedic actor. But a lot of his roles, I feel like, are best when there's just enough of it, and you don't get too much of it. Like in The Office, I felt like that when he was only in there, I think, for like 2 or 3 episodes.
I think it's just 2 episodes. Yeah,
2 episodes.
Yeah.
By the second episode, I was like, okay, this is enough of this.
And then they killed him off. So
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't hate Will Ferrell. I think that just goes to show you how good he is at it. Like, he makes those characters just be like, they make you so uncomfortable, so annoyed with those characters that you're just like, the exception. I mean, Step Brothers is one that's just, it's.
I'm going to present the explanation for Will Ferrell here.
Okay.
And I think it works. Will Ferrell isn't playing to the broad comedy audience. With each character, he's playing to that character's audience. And that's why most people are like, I like Will Ferrell in this and that, but I don't really care for him in this or that. And other people are like, oh, but I like those two, but I don't really care for the other ones. And it's because he plays to a very specific audience with each character in a different way. So I don't feel like there's too many people out there that are 100% in on Will Ferrell. I think everybody's got like a few movies where they're like, I don't really care for that one.
Yeah.
But other people are like, that's my favorite one. What do you mean you don't care for that one? And I feel like that's kind of the genius of Will Ferrell, is he's able to do that. And he taps into these audiences in that way so that he can bring the box office power when he wants to.
Yeah.
And I think it works.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in on Will Ferrell. But I don't know. I have yet to watch a Will Ferrell movie where I'm like, that was too much. But there are Will Ferrell movies that I haven't watched because I've been like, I feel like that'll be too much. Like, he did that one that was like Casa de Madre. It was like all in Spanish. And it was like a weird like Western thing. And then from the previews, I was like, I'm not going to care for this one. So I never watched it. And I may not have. I don't know. But the ones I've seen, I've been pretty happy with, I must admit. But yeah, like this one, like, is perfect amount of Will Ferrell. Because I think like with this specific character, you definitely could not go with a whole movie because it would just be too much.
No.
You can't root for the guy. Yeah.
You would have to have somebody else there to. Yeah, I don't know. I think if they did like a Funeral Crashers movie, it would have to be like maybe some people that he had, like his proteges or something, like much like this one, and then they come, then they come back and he does a cameo in it or something like that, or maybe his proteges are with him. He's in the beginning of the movie, then he dies, and they're crashing his funeral.
It's just all wedding crashers at his funeral.
Yeah.
All crashing the funeral. Everybody's trying to hook up. Like, he's protéged some women too. So like, there's like women trying to hook up with it, and then everybody's just trying to hook up with everybody, and it all works out. This feels like an SNL skit more than anything.
Yeah, it really does.
This could be like Funny or Die for like 5 minutes, and it'd work.
How is he getting these women? Like, he's bringing them back to his mom's house,
right? I think like, they're just so distracted.
Clearly, it's his mother's. Oh, my gosh. I mean, Owen Wilson walks in there and he's like, I gotta be honest, I didn't know what to expect here. I walk in here at your mom's house, there's cartoons playing. Like, I didn't know what was going on.
I'm surprised they didn't meet him before. Like, he said that the book got handed down to him like 12 years before. I thought they had met before, and then turns out that he hadn't met him before. But and there's like a whole book of rules that go with this, like.
Rule number 76: leave no man behind, or leave no crasher behind. I think, that may not be the right number, but they said Rule 76 in there somewhere, and I can't remember what.
That's just craziness.
I think they had started doing this. I think from his protege originally, because when Owen Wilson walks in there, he says, "I'm." Jeremy's friend, whose cousin is this or something.
No, okay.
I think it was Jeremy's cousin, maybe, and that was like Will Ferrell's protege. I may be misremembering it, but he mentioned somebody else, and then he's like, "Why didn't you say so?" And then he just welcomes him in with open arms after that.
Okay.
So I think that there's like they got it from this guy who got it from Will Ferrell. Else. Okay. Like he's like the head honcho of this whole.
Oh, I think there's somebody else before him.
I don't think.
Do you really? I think it goes deeper. I bet it goes deeper. I don't know who, but I feel like it could go, who could it go deeper to? Like who's somebody that's still around? Oh, you know what? And if they would have done a sequel relatively sooner, I mean, maybe you could get away with it now. You could get away with it now. Dick Van Dyke, dude's still around. He's got the energy of like a 20-year-old.
Yeah,
he could be the original.
Yeah,
100%.
Yep. Oh, that's great.
That's it.
That
right
would
there.
be.
I want to see
that'd be
that
great.
one.
Yep.
The first.
Still out there trying to get these little old ladies that are
he's doing retirement home
widows.
crashing.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the one I want to see.
Yep.
So I got 2 more thoughts on this, and then I'm ready to wrap this one up.
All right.
Do you think you should ever go hunting with somebody that's as enthusiastic to go hunting as Bradley Cooper's character was? I tell you, that guy comes out of the house with the shotgun and one of those, like, whatever, the
gun medallion. What do they call those?
all the bullets on the belt around his arm or whatever.
Yeah.
Enthusiastic,
Bandoliers.
Bandolier, just ready to go. No, we're good. I don't need to go hunting. I'm okay. I mean, I don't want to go hunting in the first place, but I especially don't want to go hunting with you.
And these guys have never hunted. They established we've never been hunting before, but still, how is John like not able? Like, how's that shotgun like completely blow him like 10 feet back when he fires that thing?
That's the only way he gets out of the way in time. Otherwise, he's the one taking the buckshot.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I'm not a hunter, but that buckshot he shot Vince Vaughn with, is that taking out a dove? Like, or they're hunting quail? Is that taking out a quail?
It's taking out a quail. Yeah,
you'd have to be pretty close to the quail, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
like, you're not hitting it from like 50 feet away or 10 feet away.
It's been decades since I've hunted, but like I imagine it's much like I duck hunted a couple times with my stepdad, and we would get in the blind, and I don't know, 15, 20 feet away, you'd hit them.
Okay.
With shotguns, so
I just imagine spray would go out too far, but I guess you only need a couple of them to land, really, to do the damage because they're so small. The animals are, not the rounds or whatever. All right, that's okay. Because it just didn't go very deep on. My only thing was like it didn't really go too deep on Vince Vaughn, so like I can't imagine it did much damage to a quail. But I guess a quail's a small bird, like doesn't take much, I suppose. But
it's hitting. I mean, it's hitting his butt. So I mean, there's there's a lot of fat,
muscle,
in there. And muscle and everything. But yeah.
All right. My last point is Walken towards the end. He I like the line he gives Cooper about like, I put up with your stories about the otters and all the other stuff because it made her happy. And basically, she's not happy, so I'm not putting up with your stories anymore. Yep. I love that. That was great.
Yep, I do too. Yeah, I love Walken in this, his character. And, even like I know he kind of gives Jeremy the kind of the evil eye in the beginning. But, you can clearly tell, like, Gloria's like, oh yeah, when Gloria goes back upstairs or something, and they're down at the bottom of the stairs, what does he say to him? He says something about like I want to say he says like I'll kill you or something. It's not. He implies it about like hurting her or like breaking her heart or something. Yeah. Like he clearly he cares about his daughters a lot. Like too.
I feel like he kind of turns the other, like, because like there's that whole scene where he goes up in the bedroom and he's sitting on the edge of the bed and Vince Vaughn's side of the bed. Clearly she's the one that did that.
Oh, like, sure.
But what is his assumption? Like, who else has done it? And he's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, but later he establishes, like, when he's walking with Claire to like pick out floral arrangements and stuff.
Yeah, and
he's like, and they're talking about her and Gloria and Jeremy getting married, and she's like, it just seems so quick. And he's like, well, your sister, if she wants something, she just goes after it. You remember when we had to have a sweet 16 party for her on her 13th birthday? So to me, like, that just shows like I think there's a combination of like, okay, I don't want to deal with this. So I'm getting resituated in my chair here, but like, he's like, I don't want to deal with this. But I think there's also like, oh, this is my little girl. Like I I kind of want to. I just want to give her whatever she wants. You know, like I think there's a combination of those two things going on.
Right.
But yeah, like with Claire, he clearly has a relationship with her. Like he knows that she's not freaking nuts. You know,
yeah. I feel like she's the favorite.
Yeah,
like, you don't want to say it, but I feel like she's the favorite.
Yep. And you're right. I love that line where he's like, "Yeah, I put up with this enough. Like I really don't like you, but I've put up with you because she
makes her happy."
Yeah. But I mean, honestly, like what he says to her at the end there, if I would have been Christopher Walken, I'd have been laying him out. I'm like,
I was watching it. And I thought for sure Christopher Walken laid him out.
Yeah.
But then it turns out to be Vince Vaughn, and that works too.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Absolutely fine. Yeah.
Which is great. Like he caught air. I think he was in the air for like 3 seconds after he got hit before he hit the ground.
Did they just finish the wedding with him laying there? I hope they did. I hope they did. And then they just step over him as they're, walking out or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Or on him, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, he definitely got what was coming to him.
Yeah.
I feel like he could have had a little more. I feel like if this was made today, we'd have like a post-credit scene where, I don't know, he's getting harassed at the airport, or like he's getting to come up at some way, somehow. Like, I don't know, he gets arrested for something, or turns out that like he got one of these waitresses pregnant, and like her dad is like, I don't know, somebody influential somewhere else and makes his life, miserable for whatever reason. But I think that's the only thing that was missing. I feel like we could have hit Bradley Cooper with just a little bit more than a punch. Like for all he did, he gets punched in the face once, and that's it.
I would have liked to have seen Claire find out everything that he'd been doing behind her back.
Yeah,
that would have been satisfying.
Give him the riot act.
Yeah, and that would have been. I think that would have been the best. Yeah. And then he can still get hit. Then Christopher Walken can hit him.
Yeah, I think Walken should have hit him.
Yeah.
Should have been Walken.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm out on thoughts. How about you? Any final thoughts on this?
No, that's we hit everything. Gosh, I love this movie. I really love it. I'm going to have to watch it again. I need to get I tried to get my wife to watch this, and I don't know if she'd ever actually seen it, because I was like, "Hey, we're watching Wedding Crashers." And she's like, I don't really want to watch that. But then, like, later on, like, honestly, it was at that scene where he's tied to the bed, and I was laughing, and she was kind of giggling. She's like, what are you watching? I'm like, watching Wedding Crashers. And she's like, oh. And then she, like, goes on and does what she was going to do. But
you think you could just sit down and watch it now?
Yeah, I think I could. You
just got to, like, one night whenever it's just the two of y'all hanging out or whatever, you just got to casually put it on and be like, I'm going to watch this real quick.
Yeah.
She's in the room, whatever. She can be on her phone, but she'll tune in. Yeah. I watched it. My wife was sick, so she slept through most of it.
Yeah.
But she wanted to watch it, so I got that, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. I don't have any stale popcorn this week. Nothing I want to bring up. I couldn't really think of anything. I thought of something earlier this week, but I didn't write it down, so now I don't have anything. So we'll skip over that.
Yeah.
And we got any gum under a seat?
We do. So this is from our faithful listener, Will Ford 81. He commented on our Lethal Weapon episode we did 2 weeks ago, I believe. Yeah. He said, this is such a good one. Mel and Danny are such an enjoyable pairing here. Great action sprinkled with some pretty funny lines. They don't make them like this anymore. He said, also, Lethal Weapon, this is a hot take. Lethal Weapon is greater than Die Hard. Easy. What do you guys think?
Ooh. I would agree.
You would agree?
I would agree. I think I like Lethal Weapon a little bit more. I think it edges it out for me just a little bit more. Especially whenever you look at it as Lethal Weapon, all of them together versus Die Hard, all of them together. 100% Lethal Weapon.
Okay.
1-to-1, Lethal Weapon 1, Die Hard 1. It's close, but I think I gotta go Lethal Weapon, I think. I think for me it's Lethal Weapon. How about you? Die Hard?
I think it's gotta be Die Hard.
Right.
I think it's gotta be Die Hard. Lethal Weapon is, man, going back and watching that with you was great. Yeah. It's good. I don't know. It's so hard. How do you compare those two? I mean, They're just like they are. Well, this inspired my retro ramble question for next week, actually. So,
well, before we run into that,
yeah,
one more caveat from me. Now, if we're talking Die Hard with a Vengeance versus Lethal Weapon 1, I think I gotta go Die Hard with a Vengeance. I think Samuel Jackson and Bruce Willis might be the better pairing there.
Well, honestly, that's like Sam Jackson and Bruce Willis. I could see them both being like in Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
Instead of Mel Gibson and Danny Glover.
Yeah, almost were. I mean,
yeah, almost were.
I don't know about Sam Jackson.
Not Sam Jackson, but yeah, Bruce Willis almost was.
Yeah, and as we learned that, Die Hard with a Vengeance was a Lethal Weapon script originally. So.
Yep.
But anyways, I'll let you go with your retro ramble.
Oh, my retro ramble. Here we go. What is your Mount Rushmore of action movies?
Ooh, okay, good one.
Yep,
that's simple.
Well, save your answer for next week.
I will.
I already know Lethal Weapon's on there. So.
Oh, it's over Die Hard. It may not be on the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll find out.
Yeah. We'll see. Thanks, Will. Appreciate your comment. Yeah. I appreciate you. I was really struggling with trying to think of a retro ramble question. I was thinking about it all up through a couple hours ago when I read your comment, because he just commented on that earlier tonight. So,
excellent.
And I saw that and I was like, that's way better than what I was going to use. So, yeah. All right. Well, we appreciate everybody. Leave us your comments, your reviews. We would love to read them on the air. You can check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can leave us reviews on there, star ratings on Spotify, like, subscribe, share on YouTube. And we will see you next time. Be kind and rewind, and we'll see you next week. Mom! Meatloaf! This Podcast Takes Tokens is a Clay Street production.